Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Evolve Through God. My name is Angela Goodman, and I am your host today for this podcast. And I'm trying to think of the best word for today's podcast. I'm at peace. I'm going to
Mhm.
say that. I'm at peace with our guest today. She is an incredible woman who has led a very challenging life to this point, but come through it with such grace and strength. And so I'm so excited for you all to get to meet Sonya Hopson today. She is a beautiful light, and it is going to shine so bright on this podcast. So, Sonya, welcome.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Angela. What an introduction. But I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm so excited to be having this conversation. And I just pray that I'm able to share some wisdom nuggets that might be helpful to your guests. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I have absolutely zero doubt that your wisdom is going to shine all over this podcast today. All over this podcast. So, and you look amazingly radiant in that pink. So for anybody who's not watching on YouTube, Sonya, if you have a chance, you go look at Sonya in her pink shirt. She looks absolutely adorable. I just want to snug
Like my
peek.
bright colors, they help me, feel radiant.
Yeah.
They say what you wear affects how you feel. So
Uh-huh.
I try to stay in bright colors or things that just make me feel nice.
Yeah.
Kind of get the day started. So
Well, you
thank you.
look gorgeous. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're matching.
So so I know a little bit about your story. So I met Sonya, just for our listeners, I met Sonya at Heroic Public Speaking, who she is also a radiant light from the stage too. So if you're looking for anyone as well to come speak at any events or things that you have going on, Sonya is a great person to do that for you. And what she talks about, I'm sure she will talk about today on the podcast. So Sonya, let's start out for you. When in your life did you first understand or get introduced to God? I know your childhood was a little traumatic, so just curious to hear what that looked like for you.
Well, strangely enough, I wasn't raised in church. We never actually went to church as when I was a child. But I will say, even as a little girl, I knew that there was a being much bigger than I could even imagine that was protecting me, guiding me, and I knew that there was something bigger for my life, even though my childhood was very traumatic. I've always had this sense of knowing that I was meant to be someone special or I was meant to do something special. And I don't know where that feeling came from, but I just have always had it
Yeah.
all my life. And it kind of gives me chills to talk about it now because I really don't know where those emotions or those feelings um, were created because I wasn't guided through
Hmm.
uh, the church. I didn't have family that spoke about Christ. I didn't have mentors along the way that had those conversations. I just have always had this inner knowing, and
Hmm.
even now, that's what I trust more than anything else is that inner knowing.
I love that. I love that. So as a child without having the introduction to that, do you remember a time in your life when maybe you did kind of get a little glimpse or a view of of there you say there was something more, right? But of specifically start to have that understanding of what that really meant for you.
Yeah, a couple of different occasions and situations. I remember being maybe around 11-ish, 12, and I was experiencing abuse in the home that I was raised in. And I would allow my mind to disappear from the situation so that I wasn't really stuck in the what was happening to me. I would
Mm-hmm.
go somewhere else in my head and start thinking about the future version of myself.
Oh,
And
wow.
I remember thinking about, oh, you're going to be a great mother, or, you're going to have this fantastic career. And my mind would go these places where I would begin to see the future version of myself. And
Wow.
that always gave me hope that no matter what the situation I was in at that moment, I knew that it wasn't my forever and that there was something greater coming. So probably around 11 or 12, I remember going places that my mind will allow itself to go to not sit in the moment of the abuse or whatever trauma I was experiencing at that moment. And I will say a moment that I know for certain is I was a sophomore in college and I was having a really, really bad day. And I was really sad. I was really, really sad. And I was walking across the campus with my head down, thinking about all the sad things that was going on in my life. And I remember this girl, and she walked up to me, and she kind of stopped me in my tracks, and tapped me on my shoulder, and she said, "Smile." She said, "God loves you."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was powerful. I mean, she's just I could feel the tap. I saw her in front of me, and I looked up in frustration because I'm like, who is this person that doesn't know me, that's touching me for one?
Hmm. Hmm.
And how dare someone tell me, God loves me? I'm feeling awful. I don't, it's a stranger. Who is this? And by the time my head came up and I looked to the side to address her, she wasn't there. She wasn't.
Wow.
And I knew it was God's presence because there wasn't enough time for her to get from in front of my face and miles down the campus.
Yeah.
It's a large campus. And I knew it was God's message to me to smile and that everything would be okay, even though it didn't feel like it in that moment. I needed that message at that point.
Wow. I just got full on
I,
chills when you
I
said
still get
that.
chills when I
Yeah.
still get chills because it was like a definitive knowing that I was God's child.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. And you said you were a sophomore in college when that
Mhm,
happened.
mhm,
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Sonia, when we met, and I think I told you this the night that we met and we talked, like your light is so big
mhm,
and you carry with you such a presence of God, in my opinion. Just the peace that I feel being around you and communicating with you.
mhm.
I'm so glad that God sent you that message that day because I can only imagine what was going through your head,
Yeah.
knowing what you've been through, and
Mhm.
lived with. I'm just in utter awe of that. So when that happened from that moment and you realized kind of that was God's presence coming toward you, what did you do with that from that day forward?
Oh, I was confused, right? Because the logical mind wants to explain it away. It's not what you thought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she must have just been walking really fast. You didn't see it. So the logical mind continues to want to explain things away. And I struggled with that, to be honest with you, for years. For years, I knew that God's presence was in my life. I knew that things were in divine order, things that I couldn't explain, situations that I shouldn't have never been able to get out of. I was able to come out of them victorious, and there is no explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I am learning and still learning that surrender um, to the unknown.
Yeah.
Things don't necessarily need to be explained, right?
Yeah.
As long as you know what you know and you believe in your soul, um, then that's really all that matters. So it took a while for me to really reconcile that moment with my spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
and really figuring that out. But it was confusing
Yeah.
initially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
wasn't
what did
quite
you
sure
do?
what I
What did
saw.
you do with the confusion? Did you start seeking more? Did you start learning
I
more?
didn't.
You,
I
yeah, okay.
didn't. To be honest with you, I didn't even really start pursuing church or really trying to understand the Bible until I was probably in my mid 30s.
Okay.
And it was
Same for
at a
me.
point where I was going through a terrible divorce and I didn't know where to turn. And I'm like, well, everybody goes to church. So let me go there. That's what everybody does. Everybody goes to
Hmm.
church. Um, and I didn't even get baptized until I was maybe 35.
Wow.
So it took me years to really search for the experience and how everybody else found their relationship with God. But I will tell you that my relationship and the intimate relationship that I formed with God was not necessarily for me trying to find that relationship in a church.
Hmm.
It was really me sitting and allowing my soul to speak to God on a more intimate level, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, I've never really conformed to what everybody else does or says.
Mm-hmm.
My path has always been a little bit more creative. I will tell you, I remember reading this book, and the name of the book was Living Buddha, Living Christ. And
Living
it was
Buddha, living
Living
Christ.
Buddha, Living Christ. And it was
Okay.
by a Buddhist monk, and I always mispronounce his name, and I don't want to mispronounce his name, but I think it's Thai,
Okay.
um, that wrote the book. And when I read that book, my whole perception about religion and spirituality shifted. And he was a Buddhist monk who was against the Vietnam War. And he met Martin Luther King, who was a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and they became friends.
Mm,
And Martin Luther King taught him all about Christianity, and he taught Martin Luther King all about Buddhism. And
that's
what they
cool.
realized is that the principles weren't that different.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Hmm.
more aligned
Yeah.
than different. And then I had like an aha moment. I'm like, okay, you can find your relationship with the divine in more ways than one. It's not a one size fits all approach.
Mhm.
And that kind of gave me an awakening to find my relationship a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So it was really more so the meditation and the silence and the quiet time.
I love that. It's funny. I'm not sure. So people who will listen to this episode, I've had other guests on where we've kind of discussed this, but there's a period in the Bible where Jesus goes MIA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's believed that he went to Tibet to study meditation with the monks there. And so it's believed that that was how he found his way closer to God, is through that meditation, through more of the teachings of love and practices, of Buddha than anything else at that time.
Oh, that is beautiful. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that.
yeah. And so that being said, to your point, one of my purposes for this podcast is for people to understand that it is one God. And
Yeah.
it's not about religious practice. It's not
Yep.
about whether you're, Christian or Catholic or, what denomination you are of Christianity, but it is really about having a relationship with one singular God.
Yes.
And so I love that you say that because, and I'm going to read that book because I have not heard of it, and I think that's amazing.
Oh, it was fascinating. It was
Yeah.
fascinating. It definitely, because sometimes when, I know that some people are even reluctant to go to church or reluctant to really enhance their religious beliefs because they feel afraid or
Hmm.
fearful
Hmm.
that they're going to be judged or whatever their fears are, their situations. And my belief that God is a loving God, right? God
Yes.
is a loving God, and He um, or she resides in all of us, right?
Hmm.
That our experience is for us to uncover.
Hmm.
It's very different and it's very complex, and you can't follow the same path that maybe someone else has followed.
Yeah. Yeah,
Really work.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All of our, the reasons we are here, why are we on earth? Why were we created? It's different for each of us.
Yes.
With the exception, in my opinion, of love. We are all
Mhm.
meant to love each
Yes.
other.
Yes.
And otherwise, we have different purposes and things like that in order to help forward the kingdom of
Mhm.
God, but our overarching piece, right, is love. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so good. So what age were you when you found that book and started that work? Mid
Probably
30s?
around a divorce 35, probably early 40. Early
Okay.
40, and I can kind of give you some insight into that reflection as well. I
Yeah.
remember um I wrote a book called Chasing Peace. And the initial part of the book talks about my journey of chasing perfection and how I really wanted to live this perfect life, thinking that that would give me the happiness that I needed. And then I went from chasing perfection to chasing success. And I started my business in 2013, and all I could think about was creating a successful business, thriving business, so that I can give my children what I wanted. I
Mhm.
wanted them to have all the happiness that money could buy. I wanted to build my dream home. I wanted all these things to show. Look at me, I've created success for myself, even given my background. Now I'm successful. Well, I remember sitting in my backyard in the new home that I just built, looking at the great landscaping that had just been placed down, beautiful flowers, beautiful trees. The wind was blowing wonderfully outside. It was just almost like the perfect atmosphere. And I felt awful. I was so sad. I
Mm.
was so unfulfilled. And I remember feeling guilty, right? Because I didn't want to be ungrateful. I'm like, God has blessed me with, what I asked for. I have this beautiful home. My kids are thriving. The business is great. How can I be unhappy? And I felt all this guilt and shame almost because I'm like, the worst thing you can do is be ungrateful to God, right? It's He's given you this abundance. You're supposed to appreciate it. Well, that moment was the best moment that I could have ever experienced because me not understanding the sadness sent me on a quest to figure it out. So
I
now
love
I
that.
became intrigued. Yeah, now I'm like curious. I'm like, well, why? Why? Are you a happy chick? I need to figure it out. So it was the greatest gift because I really became intrigued about me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let me investigate. So I
Mhm.
went on an investigation and I'm like, okay, why are you unfulfilled? And I journaled about it and I meditated and I really was very disciplined with my time and how I spent my time to figure it out. And ultimately, that is what strengthened my relationship. So during that time in
Mm.
silence, I read a lot of books, and that was one, Living Buddha, Living Christ. I read Jay Shetty's book, How to Live Like a Monk for 30 Days
Mhm.
book. I read Tina Turner's autobiography, and
Oh,
she
I love
studied
her.
Buddhism. So I read her
Yeah.
book. I mean, I was just reading all these different books on spirituality, trying to figure out my path and what I was missing and why I felt unfulfilled. So that kind of spearheaded, to be honest, my strong spiritual journey,
What was
intentional.
it? What was it? What did you find during that time? Why did
I
why were you
found out
unfulfilled?
that I was not living my purpose,
Ah,
right?
yeah.
I was not living my intended purpose, and the purpose that God wanted me to live, I rejected.
You didn't say yes to it.
I did not say yes.
So what is it?
I found a journal from 2013 and I wrote, I am going to be a motivational speaker. I wrote
Ah,
it in words.
uh-huh.
And I'm like, why the heck would I write this when the biggest fear I had, Angela, was public speaking? Biggest fear.
Mm.
And I was
I
like,
wouldn't
okay,
know that today. I
oh
wouldn't
my
know that
goodness,
today.
like afraid, like shaking in my boots, afraid, like,
Oh
oh, please don't make me
boy.
talk. Afraid,
Using that
afraid.
voice. You said no to using your voice.
I said no to using my voice,
Mm.
and when God calls, He didn't call just once. So that I remember that being in my journal, 2013. It came back again. You're going to be a motivational speaker. Nope, no thanks. It came back again. Nope, no thanks. And I kept hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. So I thought I could bargain with God. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, look, about 5, 6 years ago, I said, look, God, I'll write a book. Since you want me to use my voice, I'll write a book. I'll put everything that happened. I'll write my story. I'll write this book. It'll help people. This is my purpose. You want me to serve it. I will do it. I'll write this book. So I truly believe that God has a sense of humor because after I wrote the book or got really deep into the book, I started thinking and I'm like, well, when you write a book, what do they require you to do? Talk about it.
That's
So I'm like,
exactly right. You got to market it, girl.
so yeah, when I realized, I'm like, you're still gonna have to speak. So I just surrendered and said, okay, if this is my path, let me prepare. And I
Mm-hmm.
started to put myself in Toastmasters, put myself in heroic,
Mm-hmm.
and I just decided to not run from the fear, but walk into it
Good.
and just accept that this was the path for me to take.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay. And so
Yes.
since then, how has God worked in your life? Since you finally said, okay, God, I'm going to do what you want me to do. What's he been doing
Oh,
for you since then?
oh my goodness, magical things, Angela. Bringing the right people in my circle to help me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and support me and encourage me, pour into me, one of them being you. Um, and I have just, my prayer now almost daily is guide me, show me the people that can help me
Mm-hmm.
that are walking in your light. I'm more specific now. So I'm like, not just anybody. I want
Right,
the
right,
people
right.
that
I want the people you sent me, God. Just don't make me have to choose the right ones.
yes, because I wasn't doing very good at the choosing. So send me people who are aligned with you, and magical things have been happening. I'm in a rough spot with my business right now because when I realized, okay, what the business that I was doing was
Mm-hmm.
good and it
Mm-hmm.
served a purpose, but it was no longer my purpose,
Right.
I said, okay, I won't do it anymore. And that was the business that was creating the revenue,
Yeah.
bills.
Yeah.
So it takes bravery to walk with
Yes.
God because you may not understand and things could look a little uh uh suspect. They could
Yep.
look they could get a little frightening.
Yep.
But I have been the happiest that I've ever been because I know that I'm walking in my divine path. And I
Yes.
know that things are going to work out. And I know that the business is going to morph into my purpose. I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm okay with that.
Well, it's the mystery.
Yes,
It's
the
the
mystery.
mystery and it's God's
Yeah.
timing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now you get to sit back and just watch
Yes.
and be
Yes. With
grateful.
excitement. Like, yeah,
Yes.
what's going to happen
And
today?
do the work. I mean, look, Sonya, you are doing the work. You are doing the work that he wants you to do, and the actions are those most important pieces, right? So
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about, I know you have a family.
Hmm.
Obviously, we talked a little bit about that. So I
Yes.
know you have a family. Talk to me about how you are leading your family through these changes in your own life.
Ooh, that's a good question. So I have three daughters
Mm-hmm.
who I love more than anything. All moms will say that we all love our children. Um, the greatest gift I can give them is twofold. I've learned this. I haven't always known this. I've learned
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, is to love them unconditionally and removing any expectation off of them to be who I want them to be.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is to
Mm-hmm.
remove it altogether. And the only thing that I want for them is to be kind, to be
Mm,
happy, and to
mm,
be whole.
mm,
Anything else is removed. Doesn't
mm.
matter what jobs they work, what education they have. None of that matters anymore because it's important for them to know that I love them
Mm,
unconditionally, no matter what. So that's
mm.
number one. The second thing that's been most powerful is for me to heal in plain sight for them to watch.
Yes. Yes. That's so good. So you share with them and are authentic
Oh,
with them all the things you've
I
been
share it
through.
all. I share it all. I didn't before. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know a lot about my past trauma. I
Mm.
just didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Um, and I realized that was doing more harm than good because they had this idea of me that was inaccurate, that I was had it
Mm,
all together. Mom didn't
mm,
do any, you didn't have any challenges. Mom's life's
mm.
just been great. And then that made them feel that they had to live a flawless life, right?
Right.
Had
Right.
to meet all these high expectations of me that should have never been in there in the first place. So when I began to heal, I opened it all up. And I'm like, okay, guys, here's what I'm healing from. Here's what it looks like. Here are the good
Mm-hmm.
parts. Here are the not so great parts. Here's what I'm still learning, right?
And
Here's what I have not learned.
what was the timing like that for them? How old were they when you
They
started to be
were
authentic with that?
probably in their early 20s. I will say
Okay.
the older ones was maybe 24, 22. The
Mm-hmm.
younger one was still in middle school, high
Okay.
school.
Okay.
Now they're all over 18,
Yeah.
so they still watch, right? I
Yeah, oh, of
still
course. Yeah.
give them, they still watch because I think the greatest gift you could give is to allow them to see you, see what you're experiencing and see what you're going through because words don't have the same weight,
Mm,
right? I can
agreed.
say, girls, don't do this, don't do that, do this, but when they can see it in action,
Mm-hmm.
and then the even better than that, Angela, I started to watch them change. Right?
I love that.
Yeah. I started to watch my middle daughter meditate more.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
I started to watch, my older daughter be more inquisitive about her emotional well-being and the therapeutic process and how to advocate for herself. And then the youngest one, I watched her to be more independent, more confident, more
mm.
confident within her own skin, right?
Yeah.
And not as self-critical as I was
Hmm.
as a parent and to myself. I wasn't very nice to myself and they saw that. And so now I have to allow them to see me be kinder to myself and more compassionate to myself so that
Hmm.
they can learn that for themselves. So everything is learned. So everything that I taught them when I wasn't healed,
Hmm.
I need to help them unlearn as a healed mom,
I
right?
I let me tell you how much I love your honesty. You There are so many moms out there
Mhm.
who are still believing that the best way to help your children is to stay in a marriage that is toxic. There are some moms out there who believe the best way to help your children is to not show them the struggles you go through.
Mhm.
And I love your philosophy on teaching your kids and allowing them to see the healing process because that is how they learn. That
Yes.
is how they learn. And to your point, you also have been honest with them to say, hey, I know I wasn't the best example when you were growing up.
Yes.
And so I'm going to help you now so that your children don't have to go through this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that they have not had children yet. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a grandma yet, but I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to it. But it's perfect because they have the time to heal themselves.
Yeah.
So when they become a parent, they can parent from a healed space, right? I
Yeah.
did the best that I could do with the information I had on hand, and I don't want to give the message that we should be so hard on ourselves or have all this mom shame and mom guilt. I mean, I think there's enough of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel empowered
Yes.
empowered to be able to show them the vulnerable side of me and to be accountable. To be accountable. Yes, I have done some things or had some behaviors that didn't translate in the best way to you. And now
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you how to change that.
Mm-hmm.
All of my daughters are in therapy. They're all three in therapy 1 day a week because
Mm-hmm.
I really want them to be the fullest, highest version of themselves, whatever that looks like for them to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
what that
That's
looks like for
beautiful.
them.
What a gift that you've given them in that. Yeah. So good. So good. I think you're such a great role model in that way, and I hope that the people listening to your story,
Mhm.
they haven't heard yet. And please go out and get Sonia's book because, and she's got another one coming too, by the way. So she has been through a lot of traumatic things in her life that I know she's not elaborated much on today, but to know her story and to know the things that she's saying right now about what the gifts that she's given her girls, I hope it encourages you listeners to think about how it is you're parenting your kids in that way to show them
Yes,
that healing is just a part of the journey.
it's just a part of the journey. And
Yeah.
every one of us have wounds that we need to heal. And the reason why I can say that is because there's no such thing as a perfect parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as a perfect person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have all fallen short at some point in our lives in the parenting process.
Yeah.
And those wounds that our children have as children, they carry as unmet needs as an adult, right?
Yeah.
And when we as parents don't refuse to take accountability, we just make the wound a little bit, we keep that wound open,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
the only way to close it up and allow our children, whether they're children or adults, to allow them to heal is to really be willing to be accountable. To say, yeah, maybe I did make some mistakes, or maybe I parented from my own experience, and maybe I
Mm-hmm.
had my own challenges from
Mm-hmm.
my mother and father, and it caused me to parent from the lens in which I had, right? Because it's all
Yeah.
learned behavior.
Yeah.
um, and but just be willing to say that and be willing to have a different perspective and be willing to change and be willing to heal no matter what how old you are. You're never too old.
Yeah. I was listening this morning. I use the Hallow app. I'm not Catholic, but I like the app itself and the offerings that are there. And I was listening to the daily devotion today, and it is about looking at that person in the mirror
Mm,
so that you can understand what it is that you still need to work on. Because
yes.
we all have to work on everything, right? But being
Yeah.
able to see ourselves for who we actually are is the first step of that process.
Yes. And look
Yeah.
at it as a gift. I tell
Hmm.
my girls, I tell them this all the time. I said, look, you can visit negativity, but don't pack a bag and move in.
Oh, dang. Say that
Yes,
again.
yes.
Say
I
it
said,
again. That's so good. Say it again,
and I don't,
Sonya.
we were talking about something, and I'm like, okay, guys. I'm like, because I didn't want them to feel like it wasn't okay to be sad, because it is okay to be sad.
Yeah.
Visit negativity, but you cannot pack a bag and move in. You visit, get what you need, and you move out.
I love that. I'm gonna quote you every opportunity I get on that one because that is so good.
Get
It's
what
so
you need
good.
and move out. Go about your business, right? And that's how I view my life now. And it changes your perspective. It changes how you think about it, because a lot of people don't want to visit their past. Don't want to visit the pain because it hurts. It's a
Hmm.
painful thing to remember trauma, especially if you had significant trauma. But if you look at it as clues, it changes the perspective. Let me go visit that 6-year-old version of me to see why I made this decision, or why I chose the person I chose to marry, or why my friendships aren't working out. Instead, if not, you just repeat the behavior, you repeat the
Yeah.
pattern, you keep doing it over and over again. So
Yeah.
you got to go to the root and figure out what caused that in the first place. Visit it,
Hmm.
check it out. Oh, I need to heal this. Do
Hmm.
the work and move on.
Yeah.
But don't stay long enough to where it consumes you.
Yeah, and so I love that so much because I feel in a lot of cases that people tend to believe that they can't change that part of their life, and that's not true.
It's not true.
It is a mindset and it is a choice to make. And also, I work with clients on their financial hiccups in life and their financial narrative. And it's the same thing there. There are patterns that you've developed in your lifetime that if you continue to repeat those lessons over and over and over again, because you don't learn the
Yep.
pattern, then you never come out of it.
Yes.
So it's so important to learn the patterns in every aspect of your life and be able to
Yes.
correct those. Yeah.
Stop them. And
Yeah.
then create the life you want to create, right?
Hmm.
And because it's all about gaining control over our mind
Yeah.
and what our mind is telling us, right? Because it
Yep.
can tell us some really good stuff, or it could tell us some really negative things. And
Hmm.
really taking that control back. That's the empowering piece, that to
Hmm.
take control
Yeah.
over what you tell yourself, and take control over your past experiences. Because yeah, you mentioned that my childhood trauma, we haven't dug into detail about it in this conversation, but I will tell you my perspective now is everything that has happened just the way that it should have been for me to be the woman that I am today, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants trauma. Nobody wants the hard times, difficult challenges in our life. But what is there's always something positive or a gift that came out of those situations. You learn something.
Hmm.
You created. I'm very compassionate. I have a lot of compassion for other people and their pain. I hate to see people in pain,
Hmm.
and that would not be there had I not experienced so much pain myself as a child. I
Yeah.
can't stand to see a child in pain, and that empathy that has grown from that situation to me is a gift, because I can have empathy for other people. I can understand, and then also be willing to help others
Yeah.
who haven't found their way out
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. And we may have to do a second episode just so people can understand where that wisdom comes from. Because if you all were to know what Sonya has been through and what she went through in her childhood, you would listen to this wisdom and you'd be like, how in the world does she even make it? How does she even make it to this point in life?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so strong. So strong. Well, Sonya, I can't believe it's already been we're almost at time
I
already.
know.
So I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Some of this you've already alluded to. But we can reiterate it for sure for the listeners. The first question is when you want to feel closer to God in the divine. So when you're in those moments, maybe you're in a desert season. I had somebody say that to me the other day. When you're
Uh-huh.
kind of feeling a little bit of a drought where you don't feel the presence as much in your life. What is it that you read or listen to or absorb that brings you closer to that feeling other than the Bible?
Mm. Um, Really, it's all through my meditation, to be
Okay.
honest with you. Just when I notice the times where I'm not as close or present as I normally am is normally because I have not been disciplined with my meditation practice. I've
Mm,
missed a day, I've missed a morning. I try to meditate twice a day in the morning and in the evening, but when every those overwhelming days, I'm like, I just want to go to bed. I'm
mm-hmm,
skipping meditation tonight. I just want to go to bed, and I'll do that over a few days, and then realize I feel off. Why do
mm-mm,
I feel off? Well, I haven't had those conversations. I haven't had those dedicated moments of stillness
mm-hmm.
because all the answers that we need are within us.
Yes. Yes.
They're all within us. We just have to be quiet long enough to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. That's
Mhm.
so true. Oh, okay. So my next question for you,
Mhm.
in the moments where you feel the presence of spirit,
Mhm.
what does that physically feel like for you in your body? How does that manifest for you?
I have a sense of calm.
Mm,
I feel at ease.
mm,
Um, I feel powerful.
mm.
I feel an extra sense of confidence, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, how else do I feel? I feel wise.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll come out of my meditations with a clear answer. Like I went
Hmm.
in with a problem, uh, and I come out of it with a clear, definitive answer. Now, where the challenge is when I try to argue the answer that I just
Yeah.
received. That's the challenge. Right? You
That's
don't
your
have the
ego. That's
answer.
your ego arguing with God.
Now I'm going to challenge the answer just received. I'm like, oh my goodness, you have it. I've given it
Mm,
to you. And I'm like,
yeah.
but this or but that or what about this or what about that? So, um, really being more disciplined with that. Really, once you get the answer, that's the answer.
Hmm.
Because when it comes so confidently, and then when you try to pick it apart, then I don't feel as confident, right? I
Right.
don't feel that doubt comes in, or I'm critical, or I'm second guessing. But in the moment, I feel empowered,
Yeah.
and then I pick it apart,
Yeah.
and it changes how I feel.
Yeah. Man, I love that. That's so good. Hopefully everybody listened to that and listened to it close. Don't pick it apart. Don't
Don't pick it
question it.
apart.
Just
Don't
just
question it.
listen to your intuition and let it roll.
Yes.
All right. Well, the last question that I have for you. The Sonya who had that hard day as
Mhm.
a college student that was
Mhm.
having that really tough moment there, that was
Mhm.
visited by likely an angel of God that day.
Yes.
What words of wisdom do you have for that Sonya that predates that moment in order to help you get through what you were going through at the time?
Mm. That we really all have such a divine purpose in our lives.
Mm.
And a lot of times when we have traumatic situations, it takes that worthiness away from us when we don't feel good enough. We don't
Mhm.
feel like we're just good enough to do anything to be accepted, or we don't belong, or especially when I started a business, I felt, ooh, I do not belong in this space. I am not smart enough.
Mm.
I am not a man. I am not Caucasian. I do not
Mhm.
belong because
Mhm.
that's the image that
Mhm.
represents
Mhm.
entrepreneurial success. Um, and in those moments, that's when the divine reminds you you are enough.
Yeah.
Not only are you enough, but I've created a path for you to give you everything that you need to survive, to heal, to help others. So, really, if all of us just believed that we truly do have a divine purpose here, we
Mhm.
just have to seek it out, I think it would really change maybe the depression, people feeling like I'm not meant to do anything, or I can't
Mm.
accomplish these things that other people are accomplishing. but we can. We all have it. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of seeking it out and believing
Yeah.
that you do have a divine. So you do.
Yeah.
We all do.
Oh, I love that. It's so good. And you're right. We all do. We were created for that purpose, in connection with love, and we're here to live it out. And
Yes.
most people hopefully will find out what their purpose is and really do the work to discover that. And if you haven't started that journey yet of your own, you need to start for yourself for
Please
sure.
start because it's
Yeah.
such a beautiful journey. I will
Mm.
tell you, it's not easy. There's uncertainty, but it's a beautiful, beautiful journey. I really have a certain excitement every day about what's to come or
Yeah.
what presents the universe is going to trickle my way. You know
Yeah.
what's coming. You know, I've already seen the future version of myself. I know what she's doing. I know how she's walking in her path. And even that scares me a little bit because I'm like, wow, she's really phenomenal. You know,
Hmm.
you ask what would I tell that younger version of myself? I tell her who she's gonna be. I tell
Yes.
her she's
Yeah.
gonna do amazing things. Like, don't you worry about your
Yeah.
past. All of that is to prepare you for who you are meant to become. And I would comfort her with that.
Hmm.
Um, so that you don't get stuck in the sadness of the experiences.
I love that. I love that. That's so good, Sonya. So good. I'm
Yes.
so blessed to have you on here. I'm blessed to call you a friend. I am excited for where our friendship goes in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, girl, I'm excited about it. I can't wait to,
We can
I
do this
can't.
once a week if you want. I mean, we
Oh,
could.
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm good with that. I'm good.
I'll be
We
here
could do
next
it.
week.
Well, I was going to say we could do it more than once a week. I don't even care. We could do it any day, anytime. So good. So good. But
I
thank you
love what you're
so
doing.
much.
I love what you're doing. I'm so inspired by you, your heart, your voice, and using your voice in this way because it really is going to change lives. You've already been changing lives, and
Mhm.
um, I'm just grateful that you allowed me to come into your space to be able to share
Why
with
in
you.
the world wouldn't I have you in my space, you silly thing? I would take you in my space any day of the week.
It's been fun. I
It
like
has
it.
been fun. It has been so fun. And again, I look forward to where our friendship goes for sure. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with the listeners before we sign off for today?
Oh my goodness, that allow yourself to fall madly in love with yourself.
Yes.
Allow it. Give
Yes.
permission to, and I mean head over heels in love. Like not that love that you can't live without you. You just want to learn everything you can learn about yourself because how can you truly love yourself if you don't know everything?
Mm,
So don't be afraid to look at the places you don't want to look, the ugly places, the nice places, look everywhere.
yeah.
And then fall madly in love with all of it, all of it. And
So
that
good.
has been the most beautiful thing I could have done for myself is to allow myself to fall in love with me.
I love it.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Well, Sonia, thank you so much for being on today.
Thank
And
you.
I just love you to pieces, and I can't wait to see you again in person sometime soon.
Yes.
So, yeah. And
I
where can the listeners find you, follow you, get your book?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So please follow me. I'm social media. It's real easy. It's the Sonya Hopson
Hmm.
across all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. My book will be coming out next year.
Hmm.
So please look for that. If you're interested in getting the gratitude journal, I do have a gratitude journal on
Okay.
Amazon that is available now. But Chasing Peace will be available next year, and I just can't wait for everybody to read it. I think it's personally, I think it's awesome. I think it's phenomenal work, but that's because I'm in love with myself.
Good. Good, good, good. And people will love it too. They will love it too.
Yes, but no, but yes, please feel free to follow me on social media. I do little funny skits on perfectionism and mom perfectionism
Hmm.
and just trying to get people to see a different perspective. Even with social media, I was not really a fan of social media because it kind of showed this idea of perfection that
Yeah.
people are trying to achieve.
Yep.
And I said, well, if I'm going to do it, it has to be a way that makes me feel comfortable. So I want to go far away from perfection as I possibly can.
Yep. Yep.
I make fun of myself. The girls come in and join me. We do
Love it.
little funny things. So it's really a good way to use social media a little bit differently and allow people to just be more comfortable being themselves and not having to be a curated version of
Yeah.
who we think we need to be for social media.
I love that. Well, everybody go check out Sonya at the Sonya Hopson everywhere on social media. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Evolve Through God, and we will catch you on the next one.